How's it going? It is late night in the saw shop. It's about 11 o'clock at night on Tuesday. Friends, I jump in here when I can. I've been busy lately, just going. It is my daughter's first birthday tomorrow. So when you guys see this, it's my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Charlie. Wow. Have you been a blessing in my life? I love every second I get to spend with you. And so been getting ready for her birthday and just living life, enjoying every day with her and enjoying the summer, what's left of it. Fall's closing in, friends. We got a lot of yard work to do, and I'm going to bring you guys along with me. Today's video, I want to do some porting. It's been a while. I haven't really done much porting lately, and I'm in the mood. I got the 460 cylinder here. I want to get some work done on this. I'm not going to do a ton to this cylinder. I like what I see in here. I think I can enhance what's already here. And I think that's the best way to go in porting a cylinder is try and enhance what's there and kind of work with what the factory gave you and just try and make it better or what you think is going to be better. So in this video, I'm going to start grinding the lower transfers, get those rocking and rolling. I'll show you guys a little trick. I get asked this all the time about widening the transfers. How far can you go? Well, on a used cylinder, it is dead simple. And I'm going to show you something kind of cool about this cylinder. One of the reasons why I want to use this cylinder is there's almost no wear in it. I think I'm going to build a really nice work saw here. I'll bring you guys in and I want to show you guys something. Okay, here's your stock cylinder. There's not really much wear, but can you guys see this? See that line? There's another one right here. Okay, other side. Exhaust side. Can you see? There's a faint line here. That's where the piston rides. Now, the way you can figure that out for yourself if you don't have a used piston or a used cylinder is put your cylinder in there, make it as straight as you can, okay, in the center, and then take your marker and draw lines. Get a straight edge and draw lines with a marker, and that'll kind of give you an idea of where you're going. There, you can really see it right there. This is an OEM cylinder, and it's got little to no wear. Again, you can see right here, there is some wear in here, but we'll clean this up when we're done. Okay, so you guys always want to know, how do I decide what I'm doing? It's just an educated guess, friends. Unless you've ported a ton of a certain saw, it's an educated guess. So what I'm going to do, I like what I see here. The transition, and I'm just using a pen here to show you guys, the transition from the lower to the upper transfers is nice and big in this. Bigger than a Husqvarna of this era. Although I think Husky already had the outer transfers by then, but okay, I like what I see in here. Upper transfers are kind of small, but they are tilted up slightly. I like that. So all I'm going to do is just enhance what the factory gave me. And it's funny, I get a lot of comments about, some people think, they go, oh, you can't outsmart the engineers. Well, it's not about being smarter. Engineers work on a set of parameters. Number one, weight. They can only do, say they have to build a 14.5-pound saw. All the departments get together. I'm sure the same department doesn't design the cylinder as the one that designs the gas tank. They all have to get together and build a saw that's to the right weight parameter. Emissions. Emissions is a huge part of what goes into these saws. They have to be reliable, but the main thing is, friends, they have to be built on an assembly line. What we do is we run things exactly where they should be. Well, that's hard to do when you're mass producing, okay? So it's not so much that you're outsmarting the factory. You're doing what they can't. Not that they couldn't do this. It just doesn't fit their build parameters. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to widen the lower transfers. And basically, friends, what I want to do, same thing I did with the 288. The more you port, the more you just see there's reoccurring issues. if you look at how wide these windows are here, and again, the air comes along the side, but it also gets fed through these windows. These windows are pretty close to being blocked off, right? If I hold the piston up there, okay, see if we can get it so you can see the window. There you go. Right there, friends. See in the corner there? Okay, right in there. The piston is straight in there, and you see the windows are blocked. Okay, that's gonna stifle airflow. That air is gonna come in, it's gonna hit the wall, and it may bounce back. Okay, so I'm not gonna go huge lower transfers, but I'm gonna widen them some. I'm gonna make them a little bit lower. Okay, and see what we can end up with tonight, and do a little bit of port work. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell you guys the whole layout. I'm probably going to widen this exhaust port just a hair. Now, if you look at the wear marks on it, there's not a lot you can do with this saw. Okay, the edge of the skirt is there and there. So you don't want to go too close to there. I don't think I'm going to raise this exhaust port at all. It's at 100. And again, this is why we make notes. My exhaust port's at 100. I like that. Now, I've been kicking around. I may raise these transfers 2 degrees. Instead of 26 degrees of blowdown, I'll have 24. Just to make them a little bit bigger. It's not so much that I want to shorten the blowdown. More of the fact that I'd like to make them a little bigger and maybe tilt them up just slightly. You know, instead of them feeding like this, just tilt them up slightly. That'll be a degree or two. Intake, I'm going to lower the intake a few degrees. Right here, I'm going to grind the bottom, probably widen it some, and I may do the little Mickey Mouse ears, lunged, the Drake intake, whatever you want to call it. I've done that before on Stihls, and they seem to like it. Anyhow, I'm going to get set up here. I got some new tooling I bought, and it looks exactly like all the other tooling I've ever bought. It's got kind of a gold sheen to it. I'm going to try these out and see how they work, and I'll let you guys know. Okay, I'm going to get rocking and rolling. When I get the porting more or less laid out or roughed in, I'll show you guys. Okay, give me a few minutes and I'll get set up. Okay, stock. Okay, I'm just starting to rough it in. Moving it out. Okay, outward. Just gently going in there and just starting to do my shaping, okay? So again, stock, starting to rough in. Just wanted you guys to see those new bits I got. Wow, are they sharp. I'm going to use them for a bit, and if they're good, I'll show you guys what name brand they are. I don't want to send you guys over there, you know, something that appears to be awesome at the beginning may not last, so, but really happy with those bits so far. Okay, here's where I'm at. I've been grinding for about 15 minutes. You guys always ask how long does it take? Well, okay, now I've been using this tool right here. Okay, it's an egg shape. I did all that with this tool. And again, here's the stock side. Okay, so all I'm doing is sweeping this around the corner, creating more space. Now, if you look at the stock piston, okay, you guys can see down in there with the piston straight in, it's pretty much bang on. Now, I could go a little bit, there you go. See how it's feeding straight into the transfer now? Here's the stock side. See how it's hitting? Right there. Right there. And right there. There you go. This is the good stuff. Okay, friends. Now, that's going to cause a saw that maybe doesn't want to quite hit higher RPM, doesn't want to pull hard up top. The big bore, that's how it ran. It seemed like it was running out of gas to me, okay? So, yeah, that big bore wasn't stock, but it kind of gives me an idea how this saw runs. Okay, now I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to thin this bridge right here. And I'm going to go in with a round burr and hit the corners. You guys can see what I did here, and I'm not quite done shaping it. Straight in here, right down to that corner. I'm going to hit that corner a little bit with a round burr. And same thing, I'm going to go in here. That round egg-shaped burr doesn't fit in here, so I don't force it. Now, the way I cut this straight, okay, I start at the top, right here, okay, I start at the top and I pull it down, okay, almost cutting a groove into it. That's how I get my transfer so straight by eye. Like, I'm using nothing to line me up, friends, and look, that's pretty straight up and down. And you can see, there's the factory wear right there, okay? I could go wider, but I'm not going to in this case. I'm just going to keep it like that. Okay, I'm going to keep grinding and finish this cylinder. But again, you guys can see there's the stock one. And again, I don't mind this. It's nice and open. There are a lot of saws. They're very choked off in here. Okay. A fella told me the other day, I can't remember who said this to me, but they said start at the choke points and work your way back. Well, normally it would be in here that I'd be concerned about. But okay, friends, let's keep going and make this saw into something that rips. Okay, friends, stock. Stock. Tin manized. Okay, and again, you can see the wear pattern. I'm going to go to there on this side. This side is about, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch from the wear pattern. I'm not going to go any farther. I don't want to push my luck. I'm having good luck tonight. Everything's grinding nice. I put the ring in there just to help hold the piston in place for you guys so that you guys can see. So I want to show you guys how my mind works. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Okay, piston is pretty much in the center. And again, friends, we are right to the edge of where I ground. Okay, now I'm just going off the wear marks. And the wear marks won't lie, right? So, okay. Now, look. Look at that. A straight path through the windows into the transfers. No blockages. Okay, and I haven't even flowed this piston yet. I'm going to go in there and flow this piston. Okay, now look at the stock. Look, you can see it right there. Okay, and the other side is just as bad. There it is right there. Okay, so again, friends, I don't know how these things run stock. I ran that big bore, and it felt like it was gasping for air to me. And looking at these transfers, remember, friends, with these types of saws, the air has to go under and through. Anything you can do to lessen the stifle points and get the air into the top of the piston is a good thing. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that. I haven't ground a Stihl forever. There's my finished transfer. Now I'll go on the other side and do the other one. Okay, and that's the name of the game. Just try and make the match. It looks like I did a ton of work, friends, but honestly, 30 minutes maybe to do that. Just taking my time, moving and grooving, and some new sharp bits, and you guys can see you can do a lot of work. A good sharp bit will hog out material very, very quickly. So, you know, these things cut very, very fast. So a fella's gotta, you know, you gotta know what you're doing when you're using good sharp bits. Not to say that I do, but I've made a lot of mistakes over the years, and I'm getting better and better. Let the tooling do the cutting. Okay, and again, friends, one last thing. I do not sand these. I get asked that all the time. That is mill finish, no sanding. I'll probably sand the edges of the transfers just to make sure there's no rough spots. Because I went pretty close to the wear mark here, I will really focus on breaking this edge because it could file this down, okay? But again, I'm going to break this edge. Really, friends, wide transfers don't really hurt anything because the piston doesn't really touch it. It's close there. I'm right on the edge. You guys can see that. But I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not on the ragged edge of sanity. So Couple things to bear in mind, friends, if you're going to do this kind of work. Don't get this too close to there, or you can get some leakage through there. Not good. You know, you don't want any leakage. If the piston's coming down, you get leakage from here to here. You can end up putting some of that fuel and air that you just sucked in back into the intake. Also on the exhaust side, same deal. Now, remember, friends, you only have so much material here, okay? So you really notice I don't make these super deep in here. I don't cut in deep and then drag that over. I taper it in slowly because I don't want to blow a hole through the side of the transfer here. And you will, if you keep going at it and going at it and going at it, you will blow a hole in the transfer there, and then you got to JB weld it and hope it stays. So ask me how I know that. I've done it, friends. Okay, so less is more sometimes, and just take your time and, don't hog out too much material. Now, this looks hogged, and it slightly is, but it's, it's less is more. I really take my time, friends, especially the corners. You don't want to chip. Okay, you don't want to chip the plating, and just work on making sure everything flows all the way down to the bottom, okay? Anyhow, 460 transfers. Take these things off. I always wear hearing protection, friends. My hearing's, it's touchy at times, so I'm a hearing protection guy, and got the reading glasses on. These are 1.5 powers, just so I can see a little bit better. I was getting to the point where I couldn't see anymore when I was grinding. 2-3 years ago, couldn't figure out what was going on, and then I realized I need reading glasses. I'm at that stage in my life, so that's the way it goes. Anyhow, I hope that helps you guys with your Stihls. I do that to 266s, 272s. That's kind of my standard maneuver now. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of intake timing because, friends, we've increased case capacity in the bottom end. Okay, anything below the upper transfer is case capacity. When you're making the jar bigger, well, when the jar is bigger, you got to leave the top on a little bit longer to fill it, right? So I'm going to add, I can't remember where my intake was at on this, 72, so I'm at 144. I might run it at 148, 150, somewhere in there. And try it like that. Exhaust is at 100. Upper transfers are at 126. So I'm probably, we'll see. This thing ground real nice. Super good. It's a Male, whatever you want to call it. OEM cylinder. It grounds super nice, and I had no issues with it. So anyhow, I hope that helped you guys. This is how I plan my cylinders. I think about it a lot before I even do it. And usually it comes out pretty fair, and it looks good. And we won't know what this saw is going to do till I run it. So, but I think it's going to run good now. I think this saw is going to pull more RPM, and it's going to breathe better. Remember, friends, I am not raising the upper exhaust at all. Okay, I'm not raising the exhaust roof. I'm leaving it stock, and I'll bet you money this thing runs really good like that. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. We shall soon see. Okay, moving on to question of the day. This is a really good one. We've all been there. Stephen Harris is rebuilding an 084 Stihl. Again, a rare saw. Not a ton of them left anymore. Hard to get parts for. He noticed, he was cleaning carbon out of the exhaust port, and he noticed there is plating missing. Looks like at the top of the exhaust port. Now, Steven, I read your email a couple times, and I was like, if there's plating missing inside the exhaust port, I wouldn't worry about that. If the plating is chipping at the top of the exhaust port, that is definitely a problem. Now, what Steven asked is if he ground the exhaust to meet that plating, which was why I was guessing it's the top of the exhaust port. If he ground the exhaust to meet that plating, he thinks it's about 30 thou, chamfered it and ran it back together. How would that affect the saw? Well, Stephen, that would lengthen your blowdown, that would lower your compression, and that would raise your RPM. I don't know what the stroke is on that saw, but my guessing is 30 thou is a degree, maybe a degree and a half. it probably won't do much. Honestly, on a big saw like that, you can raise an exhaust pretty high on a big saw before you start noticing that it's starting to fall on its face with a long bar. If it is 30 thou, grind it. The thing is, Stephen, 084 original cylinders are getting to be pretty rare. I would personally would grind on that and see if I can, save the cylinder. Now, if it's starting to flake, sometimes it'll just keep going higher and higher, but cross that bridge when you get to it. The other thing is, what you could do, if your squish is enough, if you have enough squish on that, okay, measure your squish. If it's, say, 50 thou, 60 thou, take the base gasket out, that'll be 20 thou, 25 thou, put it back together, and then raise your exhaust roof. Essentially what you'll have is a cylinder that's, say, 20 thou lower and an exhaust roof that's 10 thou higher, because you're grinding at 30 thousandths, right? So you could do that, and you probably wouldn't notice any difference in how the saw runs, other than it'll have a little more grunt. You'll get a little more intake timing by lowering the cylinder. Your transfers will be lower, and your exhaust will be a little bit higher. But honestly, Stephen, I say grind on it. Try your best to salvage that cylinder, and you'll be surprised if that plating is still intact. Grind it a little bit higher, slap it back together, and I bet you it'll run slightly better, but probably not enough that you'll even notice. It'll pull maybe a little more RPM, but I would do that for sure. Anyhow, friends, I'm going to go in the house and go and chill. It's midnight, and it's past my bedtime. I turned into a pumpkin about 9:30, 10 o'clock. True story. I've been watching Cinderella with my daughter. I love having a kid. I get to watch all the cartoons and things that I remember as a kid, and it brings me back. It's actually pretty cool. Anyhow, friends, thanks for watching. Take her easy, and try it. Try porting. It's fun. Once you start, it becomes an addiction. Running stock saws, for me, is just no fun. I can't do it anymore. It is rare that I will run a stock saw. Ported saws they're awesome. They're fun, and they get my work done a little bit faster. And that's a good deal for me. Thanks for watching. Take her easy. Later.